My name is Lucy Vallely.
Hi guys. My name is Sean Liu.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
And we're just going to be chatting today about our journeys as dancers, young choreographers, and
Just people.
people.
Like human beings.
Human
yeah.
beings, yeah.
Welcome to the 2020 Dance Experience CLI Studios Interview Exchange. We weren't given a name, but that is the name I'm giving it.
Yes.
It's gonna be interesting.
Great.
Yeah.
Should we just dive right on in with
I'd
one of these prompts?
say yes.
Cool. I guess I'll ask you.
Yes, you start. Yeah,
Great,
you
I'll start. How important has training and technique been to your growth as a dancer and choreographer? Are there particular styles that challenge or excite you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we're getting deep already.
Let's do it.
Yeah, for me, technique has always been a major role in like my career. You know, either if it's like actual technique, or technique in knowledge, or technique in just like the little things. I feel like for me, it's always been the little things that kind of make you stand out from just being able to do it, And I feel like I think having that sense of knowing the foundation of certain things and the origin of a certain style, I feel like it really takes you into a deeper level of
kind of awareness and like mindfulness.
Right,
Yeah,
and kind of just
from.
like making it yours. Because I feel like you're so focused on trying to like execute that style rather than thinking like this style is only a shell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so you can actually approach it in your own way, but you can't do that if you're so focused on like, oh, I learned how to wave.
Yeah, it's
like
how do you wave?
Right,
how,
exactly.
Like what is Sean waving versus Lucy waving?
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And Lucy waving is so much better, but like it's just
no,
it's
completely different.
It's just I feel like that to me has always been something that I've always has dedicated like my learning journey to be about. It's just to understand the technique, and I feel like that's been something that's really crucial.
Yeah, no, I love that idea of like making a foundation of something, or like just a basic technique, because I think I've always had the misconception growing up of like, oh, this is stuff that I can master, like I can master this and that, but I'm kind of coming to realize, especially these days, like, and I'm feeling so much more inner peace while doing these new styles or styles I've done my whole life, like ballet, for example. I've always felt like, oh, well, I will never be this kind of prima ballerina, and so I've always like gone into ballet with like a feeling of like scarcity of like I'm just never gonna meet or like reach that level that I have this idea of. But now I'm really like starting to embrace the foundations like ballet or even just like hip hop or contemporary improvisation, like those basic ideas, and like letting myself be 100% my own unique individual with, and like infusing my essence with that. So like when I'm in ballet now, like I take Spencer Thurberg's ballet class 3 days a week at home, and like that's one thing that I just like love so much. But it's not like I'm gonna master like a tendu or plie. It's
and
like,
I feel like with like people like us, it's not like we don't have a specific goal into what we want to be. It's not necessarily something where it's like I see this person, I want to be that person. I feel like it's just more like it's just like staying curious.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like understanding that it's not about achieving. I feel like when you approach a certain goal, you limit yourself to something that you can also learn throughout.
Yeah, it creates
path.
like this rigid trajectory. Like, okay, I just need to get to this destination. I've actually people always ask me like, well, what do you want to do in the future? Like, what are your dreams? And I'm like, my dream is kind of the unknown. Like,
it's literally just in the midst of some place where when it happens, it happens.
Like I know the essence of what I want, and that's just like love and truth, and
it's really about finding the balance of like what you want to what feels right to you in the process of it. I feel like I just came up with the greatest analogy.
Yes.
It's like walking in a path with like mirrors all over the place, and you're flashing your flashlight straight dead at like the wall across the room, and you could possibly be shining it in one mirror, and it gives you all these possibilities of things that you could also achieve in terms
Yes.
of, rather than just being like, I want to be that, because then, like I said, it's gonna limit you from all these different, you know, knowledge and things
Yeah,
that you could be learning in the
experiences,
middle of
yeah.
that. So
I know. It's really about how you travel, not the destination.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I prefer plane. Actually, not anymore. Not anymore.
No.
I'm gonna take that back.
Okay. But gosh, when you do have that outlook and when you do realize like you can enjoy the process rather than feeling like you can only enjoy it once you get to a certain point, that's
Right.
where you're like, this is what
That's when
makes
you
it
get stuck.
worthwhile.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you get stuck in that one like pinpoint, like this is what I want.
Right.
Like,
But the moment you find the purity of just love and doing it,
yeah.
you kind of get lost in like what you're trying to reach for, and you just want to keep going. And that's like the best feeling. Right,
Oh,
right,
man.
right.
Like, I get
it's
goosebumps
literally
thinking
right,
about it.
exactly. It's the
Yeah.
best feeling.
You're
so.
like, wait, I'm enjoying myself and, you know, reaching new levels I didn't even know I was capable of at the
Right.
same, like, you can, not being like the starving artist, you know,
Right,
like,
exactly.
thinking it's always like a grind or a hustle, you know, it's like, I'm
Right.
really kind of over that mindset of
Right.
like
I mean,
thinking.
and I feel like we did that in the beginning stages.
We did. And I think it was necessary in the beginning
Right.
stages,
I mean,
for sure.
That's what
Yes.
triggered us to find a new path, because I feel like because we have that history of grinding and pushing and like almost in a way where like we're like pushing ourselves to the fullest capacity in terms of like training.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's you can only do so much to know about something,
Yeah.
and now it's like up to you to decide where you want to carry that knowledge and interpret it into your own life.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
It's a really interesting transition, I think, maybe for the both of us right now, because we are kind of fresh out of like, you know, our childhood growing up as
Right.
dancers.
I can't tell if I'm supposed to be an adult or a teen.
I know. It's like a weird, like 18. You're 18, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird age.
Yo, 18, I'm like ready for I'm ready to either go back to 17 or just get me up to the older age. Like,
I know. I feel like I'm in this weird limbo, but also there's something so beautiful about
It
it
is.
because I find that I have that like weird sense of like that grind hustle like kid in me that's like still pushing myself, but also that sense of like I'm an adult and I can like make choices for myself and how I want to live my life and not be so tense and rigid. But I find myself like battling back and forth, like, do I like take 3 online dance classes today, or do I just like read a book and like do artwork all day? Like what like side of myself do I nurture today?
Yeah, 18
so it's really strange.
18 is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if like people are aware, but like being just like in this age region, it's like to me it's probably one of the hardest moments that I've experienced in my life, because it's like I get anxiety every day just trying to find that balance of like you said, am I supposed to grind like I used to, or am I supposed to tell myself to learn who I am more as a human, you know? Because it's like if I'm not doing enough of one side of something, then it makes you feel like you're not doing enough. And then if you're doing more than enough, you're almost like injuring your body in a way that like your body's not used to now.
Yeah.
Like, my body can't do what it used to do, and I'm like,
no.
And I wish it could, but
I know, same.
Yeah, but it really is finding that balance of just like, what am I supposed to transition into? At the same time, what am I supposed to keep? Because otherwise, it's like if I lose it, I fear that I'm going to lose it forever.
Totally. Yeah, I've gone through phases where I've like, you know, looked at my past self and be like, oh, I just need to like let go of that mindset completely of like, you know, constantly having to like maybe sometimes unhealthily push myself to what I think is success. And so I've like, oh, I just need to like move forward in a more positive way of training. But at the same time, I get like fearful of like losing that like fire.
Right.
So it's just balancing out that fire and like kind
just
of
finding that balance.
Finding the balance.
That's the challenge with being 18.
It is.
You know.
Yeah. Oh God, I feel like so relieved that I'm not the only one that
Oh my
feels
god.
that way.
You have no idea how
Whew.
much like stress it is to. I'm not gonna say it's like stressful being 18, but it's
Yeah.
just like it's stressful having to still be in the like talking about it, but still having to experience it still. Like
Yeah.
after this is done, and I'm like,
We're in it.
right, we're still in it.
in
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
you can never decide when you want to finish, or
Yeah.
you like I don't even remember when this feeling started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just everything kind of just, and I'm sure older people older than us have experienced it too.
Totally.
So it's like I think for everyone their timeline of this experience is different.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that everyone's experiences are different. And especially at a time like this, it's like all we can really do is open our ears and open our eyes to anyone. You know,
Yeah.
like just making people aware that it's okay to be open with certain people in your life. You don't have to be open everywhere.
Yeah.
You can just be open with the people that you know you can trust, and if and that should be enough.
Totally.
You know, otherwise
yeah.
it's like then you're reaching for the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think because everything is kind of at our fingertips that we feel like maybe an overload sometimes of like choices and like, you know, people that or like, you know, things that we can be doing, especially when we're like at home. And like, you know, it's like you create like your own agency of like, you know, your choices, things that you train, like, do I choose to do this and do that and, you know, all that. So like I get overwhelmed sometimes. So that's when I do come back to like, what is speaking to my soul, and like you just kind of know that without thinking about it too much. So just like trusting your gut is something I'm trying to, you know, I'm just trying to like listen to my inner voice more rather than like trying to figure out what I should choose. But yeah, I think it's so interesting the balance of being human and being dancer, but also being like your most evolved dancer creator self by prioritizing your human self.
Right, exactly.
You know?
I mean, I have to admit though, like as crazy as this year has been, it's also been like that one year that has really opened my eyes to the people that I'm close with.
Yeah.
Cause like I think for me, I understood with people that like matter to me the most. I understood that like, oh, they matter to me. You know, like oh, we're friends. I tell them this. I tell them that. But I think especially this year, it's really when there are really tough times, either from expectations from other people or pressure or just like the most harmful like words that come across your way. It's like you lean towards the people that you are still close with at a time of isolation.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go to them and you talk to them and you're just with them. And for some reason for me, like especially from this year, it's just made it much better. You know, I think that it's really honed into that specific concept of just being with the right people.
Yeah, the quality of the people,
right?
And
The
not
quality,
the quantity.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, like finding just like full contentment.
Right.
Because I mean, I am such a homebody. Me and my parents were so close. Like, and that's another thing that I think has just like shaped me into the human being and artist and like the feeling of, you know, being able to pursue my dreams is because of my parents.
Right.
So being able to like have this time with them that I would have never really prioritized before, even my whole life growing up, because like everything I did was surrounded around dance, and like you know I never really got time just to like be with them and or like also just like hang out and talk to friends that I normally probably wouldn't be able to like prioritize that much time with. And I feel like my soul has been really nurtured during this time, and then I go to dance out of enthusiasm and a feeling of like, oh, I'm excited to dance right now, rather than like, okay, gotta like show up today, or like, you know, because it was starting to become like, I hate to say this, but sometimes it can become a thing on the to-do list. On like,
no,
and I don't want dance to be on the to-do. You know,
say no
yeah.
more. Hello, say no more. No, I feel the exact same way. I step into my garage some days just being like, all right, now I gotta do it, and it's the
Yeah.
worst feeling ever.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, it's like, I don't know. It's the worst feeling when you feel like you're repeating yourself, rather than
Mm-hmm.
trying to grow.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, that's when I found the the idea of just either doing what only feels right, or doing it again but with people, with the right people,
Mm-hmm.
because then it's like, it gives you, you're feeding off of a different energy that you don't get from yourself.
Right.
So for me, it's like I when I did have that feeling of like, okay, I got to step into the garage again, I had to stop myself. I had to take a
Yeah.
step back, and I literally was just like, I'm not. It was the worst feeling ever when I like realized that like dance wasn't my therapy anymore.
Yeah.
And then at that point I was like, the reason why it's not my therapy anymore is because I wasn't doing it because I wanted to. I was only doing it because I felt like I needed to.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
at that point, then it makes you, you can the thing that I have to say, and it's probably in one of these cards when they're like,
Uh-huh.
oh, what do you have to tell, like the people that want to, like young choreographers, it's
Yeah.
like, if you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling like you're forcing yourself to do it,
Mm-hmm.
just don't do
Don't
it.
do it. If you have nothing to say, don't say anything.
Right. Just
Yeah.
just don't do it, because
Mm-hmm.
the best moments in life come from like the purest parts of your soul, of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's when you're really sharing something that you're discovering yourself, and
Yeah.
you're also giving to the world. But
Yeah.
if you're just pushing it out there because you feel like you have to do it,
Mm-hmm.
you're really just giving people a blank page.
Yeah.
You know what
Nothing
I
of
mean?
substance. You're
Right.
not sharing your true
It could
self.
it could be like
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever. Like, you could be doing
Yeah.
3 backflips for no reason.
Oh, it could be something so aesthetically
Oh my
beautiful and
god.
pleasing.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
connect with the world.
Yeah, it doesn't come from that authentic
It's not
place
something that
inside
people is going to remember forever.
No.
People
Yeah.
are going to remember the the lowest and the highest parts of your life, and the stories that you tell. And I feel like
Yeah.
you can only really share that if it's coming from a genuine part of you.
Totally.
So yeah, just like, even in choreographing,
Yeah.
some of my mentors, just like, I've asked them, I'm like, what do you do when you're stuck? And they're just like, I just take a step back, and I
That's
just do it once I figure it out again.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I
What
was
a
like,
concept.
right. I was like, I literally took a step back, and I was like,
So this is what freedom
this
feels
is
like.
what, right, exactly. And then at a certain point, I was probably eating like chocolate or something, and I was like, yo, this is what I was missing. It was the thumb. The thumb. It was the thumb.
Yes.
That's what so.
Yeah, because you can just like go wild, like
Right.
just in the same rut over
But
and
you're
over
never
again.
gonna be satisfied with yourself.
No.
So.
Yeah, so you gotta like in those moments. Okay, where can I find satisfaction in other parts of my life?
Right.
And
and pull it out of there rather
Yeah.
than pulling it out of just substance.
Totally.
So.
Yeah, I've been trying to implement, because I have this like weird mind where it's like I always want to be like productively in a creative place. I'm Someone that really inspires me is Bruce Lee. And that's something that he always says is to be an artist of life.
Mm-hmm.
So in moments where like, or days or weeks where I'm not dancing, to like kind of take away that weird guilt that's been embedded into me, I ask myself like, how can I be an artist in everything?
aspect
Even
of your
so,
life.
like this morning I woke up and like even my stretch out of the bed, I'm like, how like can I make this like the most like beautiful and artistic stretch? Like, I mean, and I know that sounds like psychotic, but like I want to make everything in my life like meaningful. And then
Right.
I went in like even the most simple mundane things like unloading the dishwasher, like how can I do this with like quality and like what music can I play to like fill my soul during this like super mundane moment, but like how can I make it an extraordinary moment? Like no ordinary moments, like make everything meaningful, of substance. Whether you can, I think everything is art.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And also, I think everything is improv, and that's why when people are like, "Oh, I'm so scared of improv," I'm like, "You improv literally every single second of the day. Like right now, we're improving, and it's not in like dance form, but like
But it's improv in life.
it's an improv in life. So everything in life is an artistic outlet. Everything in life is an improv, and so when you kind of bring those principles that we've learned in dance and bring it into life,
Into a purpose, right?
yes,
It completely changes things.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, I should wake up like that.
You should.
Like,
It's great.
I wake up like opening my eyes and just being like,
Oh no, I have days where I wake up like that too.
right, but I could have like extended that breath. Like I could have. You're making me change the way I wake up now. Like I'm gonna change my like wake up alarm to like the most beautiful music ever, and I'm gonna do at least like a 2-minute improv before I actually get out of bed.
Right.
Yo, I'm gonna do that from now on.
Okay, I love that idea. I support that.
Wait, I kind of like that. I kind of wow, but
that's
no,
for sure, yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like
Yeah.
I think when people actually implement principles of just who we are as humans, and we understand that concept of just knowing that nothing's ever right,
Yes.
but nothing's ever wrong. It's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you can tell yourself that you're not, like you said, you're not improving, but then again, you may not be improving at a certain idea or a concept. You're improving into a different concept. You're improvising in life.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, it's like if you carry that over into a different theme of life, then it's like you're still doing the same thing. You're just carrying it over to a different environment.
And you're probably growing even more
right.
than you would in
And if you think about it, it's like you said, taking the dishwasher out. I could possibly do that while dancing. You know, like I could put that and change it into.
It turns into a whole piece.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, this is a concept we can play with, and it's like,
right,
it comes from a place of play,
and it comes from a genuine place.
Yes,
that's the most important thing. It comes from a genuine place, and from that point, it's like, it makes everything limitless. Because you think like, oh, I have no place to go, and it's like, and take out the dishes. Perfect. Then you know, like, you know what I mean?
I love this piece.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like I find the most beautiful pieces to come from the most special parts of your life experiences. Yeah. And that's like, if anything that I create doesn't come from a life experience, I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna touch it, but I don't want to expand on that subject unless I've actually experienced it, or if I've understood it.
Totally.
Otherwise, it's like I can go into it and I can be like, don't do this, or be careful of that. But the thing is that it's not coming from a place that I've experienced it before, so I don't want people to hear it from me. I want them to hear from someone that's actually like gone through it, or you know, have learned from it. You know. Yeah. But yeah, I think that. Wow, it's like talking to a mirror. It's kind of like crazy. I'm like honestly, like I'm on a high from just this exchange.
I'm like getting goosebumps every second. Like I feel really inspired right now. Like and that's like, I was actually walking into this, I was like kind of nervous. I'm like, what do I have to say? Like I haven't been dancing like how I used to for 4 months. Like, and Sean is like this dance master, and like I go through all this like stuff. Like I'm gonna have nothing to say, and now I'm just like, I feel so enlightened and inspired by your presence, and like. Yeah, you're 100%. So talented and have so much to offer, and we should dance together soon. Oh. I would love to, because I have found that like during this time, like I haven't been dancing with too many people, but when I do and like I get in this space with someone else, I'm special. Like something comes out of me that I didn't know I was capable of. And that's another thing I have kind of an epiphany during this whole entire time is I've realized like, when I try to lock myself in my room and improv and create, I do the same crap over and over again, and it's just like, I mean, sometimes I have my days where I'm like, oh, I'm onto something. Right. Other days it's just like, when I'm constantly just trying to pull from myself, it's exhausting. So being in the space with other people, I realized that when that was taken away from me, how special and important human connection it is. Like, it's just so important. Because, like, you create something so genuine and authentic in that moment with that other person.
Like I said, you're feeding off of an energy that you're not able to gain from by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like and I find it so special when you're not even having to dance with a person. Like you're just talking like this.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I didn't realize how special it was to just sit next to the person that means the most to you. You know, like it may not feel right at the moment, but then, like you said, once that's taken away and then it happens again, you realize that it's so much more important than you realize.
Perspective is so beautiful.
Right, and I live off of this saying, and I say this all the time. I say where there's love, there's life. So when you find love in things, you're really just building another step into your life.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's like if you're finding something or you're doing something that's not out of love, where is it coming from? You know, is it coming from the pressure of people? Is it coming from the pressure of yourself? And I feel like that should never be the case. I feel like that's when you start to damage the steps that you've been building from your entire life. You know, so. Yeah, I mean, I would love to dance with you. I mean, just to exchange. I mean, like I said, I find that so special, and during a time like this, it's really made it that much more special. You know?
Yeah. It's when it's taken, like you don't know what you got till it's gone, as Joni Mitchell once said. Like it's really just so special to be able to experience that perspective and that like shift of what you realize is.
Right.
You know, incredible in life. But that's also another thing, like kind of feeling confined into these ideas of what I have put myself out there as and what people have perceived me as, and like kind of getting married to this idea of what I am out there in the world.
Right.
I've personally, like the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to step away from social media and Instagram and just trying to like take a step inward and like where is that coming from? A reset for sure, because I feel like especially as young choreographers, that's kind of where I started sharing my work, was through Instagram. And I started choreographing from such a pure place. I mean, probably I started when I was like 7 years old in my living room to like Kiss and Billy Joel and Tom Petty, like just out of pure fun and enthusiasm. And I'm just trying to reconnect to that place of genuine and like pure creating.
No,
and
I feel
the
exact
second
same way.
sometimes like I find that, and then like I have a video of it and then I share it, and then that's when I think this weird cycle happens of well, now I need to like share more videos, and now I'm just like, okay, let's like, but you said take a step back and really just focus on where it's coming from and
why it's happening.
Yeah. So, but I also like don't want to bash Instagram, YouTube, all that, because it's given me so many incredible opportunities, and you know, I wouldn't have a lot of the things.
I think it's just the idea of not depending on it.
Not depending on it, especially like.
I think it's more about the idea of using it to share rather than dominate. You know? Because I feel like, you know, with social media, you can. It's not only a platform for the good, but it's also a platform to spread something that may not be as good. You know? It's like it gives people an outlet to share their judgment, either if it is good or if it is really bad. And I think that when there comes a time where it's like you're depending on it, and the bad judgment comes in, you're at your lowest point because you're just like, I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know what am I supposed to do, you know? And then, like you said, looking back at it, I choreographed because I believe that no one knew myself better than I did. And so, like, I choreographed solely based on the idea of just sharing to all the Hall of Fame judges, being like, "This is who I am," you know, like no other.
I've seen that video.
Right, like that's what I'm saying
so
though.
Good.
It's like I'm not. I did not tell myself like I'm gonna choreograph because I know my mom's filming and she's about to put that up on Instagram like a few minutes after I dance. It's like I did it because it's like this is what I do. This is who I am. And any person that sees it knows who I am now. But I'm not going to go into being like, oh, this is hot. Now I was like, oh, then maybe I should be doing this in my choreography. You know, it's like if other people are doing it and people love that, that's great for them.
Yeah.
But that's not who I am, and that's not what I'm going to go for now, that only because it's hot. You know, like, I need to have, I've always dedicated everything that I've done solely based on good intentions. You know, and I feel like when people have that mindset, and I'm not gonna lie, I've had phases where it's like, ooh, maybe I should do this. You know,
same.
like,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
But like, those hesitations are kind of just like those obstacles that we go through, and I feel like now it's really about staying true, and everyone hears this all the time, but just like staying true to the person that you are, not even the dancer that you are,
No,
the person. Because in that point, that gives you longevity in life, rather than just being like, oh, I can do a wave, so I'm gonna do that and make it the dopest wave that anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
But the truth is, there's no such thing as the best. There's no such thing as the coolest. There's no such thing as being at the top.
No.
Because when you realize it, you can only do something that makes you stand out. And when you stand out from the crowd, you continue to stand out from the crowd rather than trying to become the best in the crowd. You know, it's really just that concept of realizing that there's literally no such thing as the best.
No.
Someone that I assume is a master at their craft, and they're sharing to me someone that inspires them. I'm like, oh, so you're not at the top.
Yeah.
We're all in the same level, sharing and exchanging.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize that and you hold on to that, that'll give you so much longevity.
Oh, totally.
So.
Oh, yeah, looking at dance as this.
Right, this instead
rather
of
than
like buildings, like it's just it gives off an energy that's like that could potentially destroy our community. You know?
Totally.
So I think rather than looking at it as New York, we should look at it as in like farmland. You know, like just this like
nice
group hug. Because dance is dance. You can't separate like, oh, but dance is different than dance. It's like, no, dance is dance. Art is art. Life is life.
Movement is movement.
Right, and it's really just based on your intentions.
It's not about what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
And why you're doing it.
And why. Yeah, the why. I know every day I still have to wake up and do my intentions. It's an everyday thing. Like you have to connect to the why, because you can get so lost in the mishmash and all the extra stuff, all the accessories. Tuning into yourself. Oh my goodness.
Wow, this got really deep.
So
let's continue with these questions. What do you eat for breakfast? No.
Oatmeal. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Every day.
Oh.
Same thing every day.
Really?
Yes, I was. Wait, you are a master chef. I remember.
I think we're out of time.
We are, but
we'll get into a segment next time.
We'll just do a whole entire segment about my oatmeal making.
We'll do a Food Network show of just like. Like I'll bring pans next time, and we'll just cook across from each other.
Oh,
we'll do that blindfold
down.
thing where I'm just like, all right, now put the oats inside the pot. Wait, why am I closing my eyes? Put the oats in the pot. You know.
We'll do it. Yeah,
right.
That sounds really exciting.
But I mean, holding these cards, I feel like I'm about to tell the weather. But
we didn't even use them.
I do want to thank you, and thank everyone in the team of Stay Alive for having us.
Yeah, this has been so great.
This was a lot. I'm not going to say better, but this was a lot more fulfilling than I would have expected.
Yeah,
and I
same.
think that really just comes from talking to just an incredible human being like you. You know,
you're incredible, Sean. Thank you. I have had the goosebumps this whole entire 30 minutes, and I'm walking away from this just feeling so inspired, and like